Four or five, but I think 5 jets were shot down actually. And Lindsay, that was getting worse and worse, wasn't it? Huh? That was looking like it was going to go. These are 2 serious nuclear countries. Actually, they just shot down 7 planes. 7 planes. It was starting. 8 planes, 7 planes were shot down. There 8 planes were shot down. There was 7, now it was 8 because the one that was sort of shot down is now abandoned. 10 planes were shot down. That war was going and probably going nuclear. A lot of them say, oh, well, they weren't fighting. They were fighting. 11 jets were shot down, very expensive jets.
How do you think your relationship with India is right now?
I think my relationship with India is fantastic. At India, Pakistan, that was going. In fact, planes were being shot out of there. 4 or 5, but I think 5 jets were shot down actually. And Lindsay, that was getting worse and worse, wasn't it? Huh? That was looking like it was going to go. These are 2 serious nuclear countries, and they were hitting each other. You know, it seems like a new form of warfare. You saw it recently when you looked at what we did in Iran, where we knocked out their nuclear capability, totally knocked out. That's going to be gone for a long time. But there seems to be a hit and then another hit, a hit and another hit. It's a different thing. But India and Pakistan were going at it, and they were back and forth, and it was getting bigger and bigger, and we got it solved through trade. We said, you guys want to make a trade deal? We're not making a trade deal if you're going to be throwing around weapons and maybe nuclear weapons, both very powerful nuclear states. And in this case, I use trade. I'm not going to trade with you. Used to 2 nuclear nations, big nuclear. No, you cannot do that. I said, yes, I can. You go into this freaking war that I'm hearing about. You know, actually, they just shot down 7 planes. 7 planes. It was starting. There's a lot of bad blood. And I said, you do this, there's not going to be any trade. And I stopped the war. It was raging for 4 days, but that was just the beginning. And we stopped it. It was a great thing. And the Prime Minister of Pakistan was here, along with the Field Marshal, who's a very important guy in Pakistan. And he was here 3 days ago. And I didn't even realize it as beautiful as he said it, but he said that to a group of people that were with us, 2 generals, but a group, he said, this man saved millions of lives because he saved the war from going on. And that war was going to get very bad, very, very bad. President Trump saved millions and millions of lives. That was a bad war. And I was very honored. I loved the way he said it. Susie Wiles was there. She said that was the most beautiful thing. But we saved a lot of them. Pakistan and India, you know, I was in the midst of a trade deal with both of them. And then I read on the front page of a certain newspaper, I said, I don't want to mention the newspaper because it's usually fake news, but I heard they're going to war. 8 planes, 7 planes were shot down. An 8th was really badly wounded. But 8 planes were shot down, essentially. And I said, this is war. And they were going at it. And they're 2 nuclear nations. I said, I'm not going to make any trade deals with you guys unless you agree to peace. No way, this has nothing to do. I said, it has everything to do. Your nuclear powers. I'm not trading with you. We're not making any deals with you if you're at war with each other. A day later, I get a call. We made peace. They stopped. I said, thank you, let's trade. Isn't that great? Tariffs did that. You know what? Tariffs. Without tariffs, that would have never happened. Of the 8 wars I ended, I would say 5 or 6 were ended because of tariffs. I'll give you an example. If you take a look at India and Pakistan, they started to fight. They're 2 nuclear nations. They were shooting each other. 8 planes were shot down. There was 7, now it was 8 because the one that was sort of shot down is now abandoned. And 8 planes were shot down. And I said, listen, if you guys are going to fight, I'm going to put tariffs on you. And they both went, you know, they were not happy about that. And within 24 hours, I settled the war.
Do you have any plans to travel to India for the Quad Summit? And how do you think your relationship with India is right now?
I think my relationship with India is fantastic. And we're doing trade with India. India pulled out of Russia. You know, India was getting its oil from Russia, right? And they pull way back at my request because we want to settle that horrible war where 25,000 people are dying every month. And my relationship with Prime Minister Modi is, I would say, great. I also stopped a war between India and Pakistan, as you know. There were 10 planes were shot down. That war was going and probably going nuclear. And just yesterday, the Prime Minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 35 million lives by getting them to stop. And I did it largely with tariffs. I said, look, you're going to fight, that's fine, but you're not going to do business with the United States, and you're going to pay a 200% tariff, each country. And they called up and they said, we have made peace. Okay? I just want to thank you all. Look, great certainty has been brought back to the economy of the United States and actually the economy of the world, because we generate so much in the world. We're the biggest in the world, and we're now the strongest by far. We were a country that was dead 1.5 years ago. Now we have the hottest country in the world. We're going to keep it that way. I said, if you fight, I'm going to put 200% tariffs on each of your countries, which essentially makes you not allowed, you can't do any business. One of them, I won't say which one, said, no! Can't do that. They both wanted to fight. But when it came to money, it's not like money. When it came to losing a lot of money, they said, I guess we don't want to fight. And we solved that deal in 2-3 days, right? And we did. We said, these are two very powerful nations. These are two nuclear nations. And I don't want to say what was going to happen, but, bad things happen. So, Prime Minister, I want to thank you, because that was a very big deal. People have no idea. A lot of them say, oh, well, they weren't fighting. They were fighting. 11 jets were shot down, very expensive jets. And they were all in. Both of them were all in, and now they're not. And I think we'll always be able to settle up with them. I really do. I think you're going to have, it's a lot of progress was made even in the relationship. And Prime Minister Modi also, he's a great man. He's a great guy. They're all great. But I was very proud of it.